Wielding Acrobatic Silky's power, Aira fights the Serpoians against Okarun and Momo. The frustrated Serpoians power up their crustacean-like minion. Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Dandadan, Merge Serpo Dover Demon Nessie. This episode is freaking awesome when it comes to the fight scenes. The animation for the fight scenes is amazing. Some of the best that I've seen in a long while. I would rank it up there with some of the fight scenes that you would see in like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, the Fate Stay series. Really good fight scene. So this episode covers chapters 21, 22, 23, 24, and the first few pages of chapter 25. So if you watch this episode and you want to dive into the manga immediately afterwards, I would start with chapter 25. And this episode concludes the Serpo arc. So we start off this episode exactly where the last one ended, where we have Okarun naked and on the floor because the Serpos are using their psychokinetic powers to keep him down. But Aira has powers of her own, and she has Acrobatic Silky's powers. And so she starts fighting against the Serpos, and she like kicks them away. And then she starts going one-on-one against Mr. Mantis Shrimp. And not only is she able to hold her own, but she's actually winning this fight. It's kind of crazy because it makes me wonder if once you gain demonic powers, do you automatically know how to fight? Because Okarun was kind of the same. Like, these are characters who have never fought in their life before, but as soon as they gain demonic powers, they're able to fight against other demons and aliens and stuff. We have some kind of funny moments where Aira sees Okarun naked in front of her, and she's like blushing and covering her eyes, but she's kind of still peeking. And she basically says, "Is this your way of asking for my hand in marriage?" Basically, revealing yourself to me. So yeah, Aira is just completely in love with Okarun. And Okarun rushes into a classroom and he's trying to find some clothes. He's trying to find anything because he's just butt-ass naked. And so as he's looking for stuff, Aira and Mr. Mantis Shrimp start fighting. As I said, she's able to hold her own. She's able to win this fight, basically. And then that's when she gets slammed into a wall by psychic powers. Turns out that one of the Serpos is, has gone back up, and they're able to use their powers without needing to chant or anything like that. So they're holding her against the wall. They're basically remarking about the fact that they didn't expect to find someone else with supernatural powers here. They thought that it was only going to be Okarun. And they decide that they're going to go after her banana as well. And Aira's like trying to fight back, basically saying that she's the chosen one. And they're like, yeah, you are the chosen one. You're chosen to give us your bananas and help evolve our species. She gets hit again. She gets knocked through the wall and starts flying into the crash room that Okarun is in and just collapses. And then that's when we have this funny moment where we cut to some chairs and tables and desks that are like in a pile, and Okarun's voice is coming from the other side. He's basically saying that, he's going to fight them. And he unleashes his powers, and it causes like all the furniture to explode away from him. And then we just see him, and he's still naked, covering his junk. And then he does like a funny little crab walk as he's bantering with the aliens and getting in front of Aira to protect her. And he powers up into Turbo Granny phase once again. Goes to attack, but then he gets forced into the ground by the Serpos. And Aira joins him as well. And basically the Serpos have put their powers together to create like this ultimate psychokinetic, like invisible weight that basically is like crushing the two heroes. And they're not able to get up. And they mentioned that when we combine our powers, we're a lot stronger, the Serpos. However, there's a flaw, and that flaw is that we cannot enter this area. Like, we cannot enter the area with the kinetic powers. However, the guy that we hired can. So Mr. Mantis Shrimp walks in and starts punching Okarun in the back of the head. And then that's when we have this cool moment where Okarun releases his Turbo Granny phase once again, grabs Mr. Mantis's hand, starts crushing it, and then he headbutts him into a wall and kind of knocks him out for a while. And the Serpos are like freaking out. They're wondering, how the hell did this guy break through our powers? And that's when he realized he didn't. There's someone else here countering our powers. And then that's when we see Momo. Momo has finally arrived. And we have like a funny moment where Okarun is like, Momo-chan, I've been wanting to see you again. And Momo's upset with him. She's like, shut up, don't look at me, you pervert. And Aira is like, having to be rescued by Momo of all people pisses me off. But I guess we have no choice. Let's join forces and take on our opponents, our enemies. And Momo is, of course, confused that she's Acrobatic Silky now. And so we have this hilarious moment where Aira is like, I'm going to cooperate with you for now, but I'm never going to give up my dear Ken Takakura. And then we immediately have a flash zoom cut to Momo's face, and she rockets backwards, and she lets out like this girly moan as she collapses to the floor. And Aira and Okarun immediately face plant into the ground because Momo's no longer using her powers to block out the Serpo's powers. And yeah, basically Momo's whole running gag of Ken Takakura and not being able to use that name, not being able to use his catch lines and stuff like that is still there. So of course, Aira and Okarun are like, what the hell is wrong with you, Momo? We need you to keep their powers in check. And we have this really weird moment where one of the Serpos runs over to the collapsed Mr. Mantis shrimp. And I can't believe these words are going to be coming out of my mouth. The Serpo unzips, lets his mechanical penis comes out. The mechanical penis stabs Mr. Mantis shrimp in the head and injects Serpo DNA into him and turns him into a Serpo Mantis shrimp man. Yeah, that happens. It's weird. And then we have like this another comedic moment where immediately after that, the powered up Mr. Mantis shrimp starts singing the Japanese businessman song, which is an actual song that you can find on YouTube. And unlike with ABBA, where they obviously couldn't use the ABBA song for copyright reasons, they're actually singing this one. So yeah, he's singing the Japanese businessman song, and he's basically using his powers to send out punch waves. Like his powers have become even stronger. So Okarun and Aira are like, we need you, Momo, to cancel out their abilities. She does. They power up again, and they go to attack Mr. Mantis shrimp. But as soon as Aira does, she gets hit with an uppercut, and it turns out that she can't see his attacks. He's too fast for her. However, Okarun can see Mr. Mantis shrimp's attacks. He can dodge them very easily. And so we have this moment where basically Okarun, who's naked, is holding Aira, and the two kind of start dancing. Or at least it looks like a dance. What's really happening is that Okarun is dodging Mr. Mantis shrimp's attacks. And because he's holding onto Aira, she's dodging too. And as the two of them are dodging, Aira's sending out counterattacks. So she's like kicking and swinging at Mr. Mantis shrimp and actually hitting him. And when Mr. Mantis shrimp tries to attack back, Okarun dodges with Aira. But the way that they're dodging, it looks like a dance. And it looks like one of those, like almost like a salsa dance. It reminds me very much of anyone who's watched old school Simpsons. Oh my god, I can't remember what the sketch exactly was. But it's this dance that, like, when you do the dance, the woman ends up pregnant. It's just like a very funny, I think it's like a movie that they're watching, like Marge watches. It's like one of those weird foreign romance movies. It's kind of like that, where it's like a sexy dance, where it is part salsa, part ballerina, almost part couple skating, ice skating. And so Momo's watching all this, and she's getting upset. And she basically is like, don't fight so close to each other. You're easier targets that way. And Aira pretty much calls her out that you're just jealous because of how close we are. And Okarun's like, good advice, Momo. I am an awkward fellow after all. And then we immediately get another snap zoom cut to Momo as she moans girlishly and flies backwards. And Okarun and Aira face plant into the ground once again. They just start arguing with each other. Basically, it's Momo and Aira are like screaming at each other, and Aira's like, "You gotta focus, Momo. You gotta, keep these weird powers in check. We can't be doing this constantly." And then that's when the room gets flooded with water, and we have like this cool moment where they submerge underwater and they look down, and the floor like disappears. They can no longer like stand in the water. The water is so deep that they can't even see the bottom. So they're threading water, and then they see Nessie swimming underneath. We have this cool moment where Momo touches the wall next to her, and it turns out that the wall is made out of water, and the ceiling is made out of water. So it's this weird thing where above them, the ceiling is water, on the sides of them is water, and then below them is water. And there's just a small pocket of air from like their chest to the ceiling, but everything else around them is water. Of course, Momo starts freaking out because she realizes Nessie is here, Mr. Mantis Shrimp is here. They're strong in water, and we are completely submerged in water. Like there's water everywhere. We got to get the hell out of here. And Aira fires back with, why are you calling the shots? I'm the leader here. And this is going to be a gag that is not going to go away for a long time. And I absolutely love Aira for it. She sees herself as the chosen one. She sees herself as the leader. She's the one that's going to lead humanity to victory against the demons and aliens and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be hilarious watching this continue. Okarun, because he's a UFO fanatic, because he's big into cryptids and stuff, he kind of starts fangirling that Nessie is here. Like he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I actually get to see Nessie. And Aira starts blushing, gets close to him. She's like, oh my god, Takakura is so excited. It's so cute. And Momo's like pissed off. Okarun's like, since this is Kamakoshi City, shouldn't it be called Kamishi instead of Nessie? And Aira's just like, wow, so his name is Nessie, huh? You're so cool, Okarun. And Momo's just, again, pissed off. She's like, if you guys want to be buddy-buddy and gawk at Nessie, like, go ahead, but we got to get the hell out of here. The Serpos are, like, pissed off at Nessie because Nessie's one job was to take care of Momo, but it hasn't done that. And so they start saying that they're going to cut Nessie's salary, which just makes me kind of want to see that business deal go down. Obviously, they went to Mr. Mantis Shrimp, like, hey, we got a job for you and we'll pay you this much. But I want to see how that interaction went with Nessie. Like, did they actually go and track down Nessie and just have, like, a business transaction with it? Like, I'm kind of interested to see how that would have gone. But yeah, they basically say, we're going to cut your salary, and the Serpo gets cut in half for that. Nessie kills it. Of course, Okarun and Momo are like, okay, yeah, you're right, Momo. We got to get the hell out of here. So they start trying to swim away, and Aira tries to follow after them, and she gets blasted through the ceiling, and she starts drowning. And Momo and Okarun like look down, and they see that Mr. Mantis Shrimp is submerged in the water. And because of that, he's extra strong now. Like his punches are like really, really pack a punch now. And just one punch was able to send Aira flying. And we have this comedic moment where he's like getting ready to attack them, and then he stops and he starts flaying like crazy. And then he quickly swims to the surface and starts gasping for air. And it turns out that he can't breathe underwater. So even though he's stronger underwater, he can't breathe. He still has to come up for air. And Momo's like, now's our chance. Get him, Okarun. And Okarun's like, all right, with Turbo Granny's like leg strength, I should be able to swim fast enough to attack him. And so he transforms into Turbo Granny. And we just have this comedic moment where he completely sinks into the water. And both Momo and Mantis Shrimp just kind of stare at him as Okarun is like running, but instead of moving anywhere, he just keeps sinking. So he has like a run animation as he's sinking deeper and deeper. And Okarun like rushes back to the surface in his regular form. And he's like, I can't swim. Turbo Granny doesn't know how to swim. So he can't use the Turbo Granny power while in the water because he'll just immediately sink. And Momo is basically just yelling at Okarun. It's like, you know, stop fooling around. If we don't hurry up and save that stupid girl, she'll drown. And I kind of wish that they had kept the translation from the manga, because in the manga she calls her a dumb skank instead. She's like, if we don't help that dumb skank, she'll drown. But yeah, here she just calls her a stupid girl. So yeah, Aira's still drowning, and Okarun's like, can't you use your powers to grab her? Momo's like, if I was right below her, I could, but that shrimp jerk is in the way, so I can't get close to her. And Okarun is like, all right, then I'll try to draw his attention, and you use that moment to go help Aira. And Momo is like, if you charge at him, you're going to end up just like that idiot, referring to Aira. Like, stop creating more headaches. And they start arguing with each other. Okarun's like, I'm just trying to be useful. Momo's like, if you cause more trouble, how is that going to be useful? This is why we should have ran for it. You two are being too lovey-dovey, and that's what got us into this mess. And we have like a moment that's really cool where Okarun's like, so you were upset about that. And Momo's like trying to deny it. She's like, I don't care what some liar is doing with some dumb girl. And Okarun's like, hold it. If you actually care, then tell me honestly that you do. If it's weighing on your mind, please let me explain myself. I don't care how much other people will take things the wrong way, but I don't want you to have the wrong idea, Miss Ayase. I want you to have a proper understanding of everything. And he's like holding her hands as he's doing this. And I like the fact that in Dandadan, we've had this in the past, we have this now, and we're going to have this in the future, the characters communicate with each other. Because one thing I absolutely despise is when there's some kind of misunderstanding that can easily be fixed with one person just communicating. But instead, they drag out that drama for multiple chapters, multiple episodes, multiple whatever the medium happens to be. In Dandadan, they fix that stuff pretty quickly. Like, hey, you have some kind of problem. If it's a misunderstanding, if it's something I did, tell me, and then I'll fix it. Like, let me make things right. So I like this. So yeah, Momo basically has like a moment, and you can tell it's like getting to her, and she is almost kind of blushing, but then she plays it off and calls him a pervert and says, "Don't touch me." You know, how can you say that when you look at me like that? That's when Nessie's going to do a power up and shoot his beam at them. And Okarun grabs Momo and dodges out of the way. And we have this moment where the two of them are basically embracing each other, and their faces are right next to each other. And yeah, you can tell that feelings are there between the two of them. Like it's pretty obvious that that there's something going on with them. And this isn't just a moment thrown in here for like shipper bait or anything like that, because immediately they get to the surface, they separate, and Okarun says, you know, "I'm sorry, I won't ever touch you again." And Momo says, "That's it. You just saying that gave me an idea." And so Momo uses her powers and she starts testing them a little bit. She starts dragging Okarun from side to side. And she's like, "All right, I got an idea." And basically what the idea is that Momo is going to grab Okarun and basically kind of like squeeze him. And it's almost like when you squeeze a fish and the fish like slips out of your hands. And she's going to keep doing that. And by doing that, she's able to propel Okarun. Meanwhile, as she's propelling Okarun, she's going to be riding on his back. So she's kind of almost using him almost like a torpedo. And she's like able to zoom around in the water and dodge Nessie and dodge the mantis shrimp. And eventually she uses her powers to get in close and dive upwards through the ceiling. They grab Aira and they emerge on the next floor. They are able to resuscitate Aira, and Momo tells her, like, you know, start stripping off your clothes. The least clothes we have, the least amount of resistance we have. So yeah, we get some more fan service where Okarun, he's naked. He's been naked this entire episode, but now both Momo and Aira are stripped down to their bras and panties. And as they're doing this, the remaining Serpo uses his metallic penis to merge with Nessie and mantis shrimp. So that's where the title of this episode comes from. They basically merge together so that we have a Nessie, mantis, shrimp, Serpo entity. Our three heroes dive underwater again. They start zooming through the water. They're trying to figure out a way to attack this new creature. They realize that it's soaking up water through its neck to power up its beam. So as they're zooming by, Aira uses her hair to wrap around the creature's neck, and she goes to deliver a kick when the creature just punches her away. Mr. Mantis Shrimp, since he's merged with this creature, not only do they have to watch out for the blasts, but now they have to watch out for its punches. And eventually it's able to knock all three characters away from each other. And it's just Momo, and Momo's submerged underwater. And the creature basically taunts Momo and says that you've gone into our way so many times, we're just going to kill you now. And we have a cool moment where Momo like holds up her hand and then she flips it and does the just bring it motion. The mantis creature is about to punch her when she uses her psychic powers to blast the water away temporarily. And because the creature was going at full power and the water is gone, the power is so much for the creature's body to handle, and it basically just like destroys its arms. So now it can no longer punch. And it's like, all right, well, I can't punch you, but I can still eat you. So it goes to eat Momo. Momo's like stuck between its mouth, and the creature is like, how are you going to survive? You're either going to drown, you're going to get eaten, or I'm going to blast you with my laser. So it starts charging up its mouth laser. And then that's when some hair flies down and wraps around its neck. And it turns out that Acrobatic Silky is on the surface, and she's using like half her hair to propel herself to keep her above the water, and the other half has made a plank that's made like a walkway for Okarun to run on. And Momo uses her psychic powers to basically get rid of the water around the hair. So now Okarun has a running platform and he can use Turbo Granny's powers at full speed. So he starts running. He does the headbutt, destroys Nessie, grabs Momo at the same time, and the water world disappears and they end up back in their real world. And I thought this was just such a cool idea. This is one of the reasons I love Dandadan so much in the fight scenes, is that a lot of it is not just, oh, I'm going to overpower you with my powers. It's them coming up with crazy ideas that actually end up working. Like Momo using the train to hold down Turbo Granny and have them run through a barrier that's going to burn her. Or Momo having the Dover Demon punch her so much that she's technically outside of the barrier and she's able to slap on the talisman and burn everything inside. Or Acrobatic Silky, where she allows Acrobatic Silky to eat her so that she can burn her hair from the inside out. Or here, where she literally is able to use Okarun like a torpedo and then have the three characters use their powers, where she basically creates like a air pocket so that Aira can send her hair down and Okarun can run across the hair through the air pocket and be able to run at full speed without drowning. Like, just the ideas that they come with to defeat the enemies is just so crazy and like awesome. I love this. The water world is gone. Nessie has been defeated. Our two characters are back in the real world, and Okarun is naked and he's lying on top of Momo, who is just stripped down to her bra and panties. They're completely laying in a puddle of water. And we have some funny dialogue where they're like, they're glad that they're back. Okarun is like, the floor is hard. Oh God, this is the hallway. We're back in our world. And Momo is hugging Okarun to herself and saying, thank you, hallway. Thank you for your hardness. And they start laughing. And then that's when they realize that the entire school is there staring at them. Because, the school didn't disappear. It was them that disappeared into a different void. So they're back in their world. The entire school just sees a naked Okarun laying on top of a half-naked Momo, completely soaked in some kind of weird liquid. It's water, but they don't know that. And, rumors are going to start. And of course, Momo and Okarun freak out. They're completely embarrassed. They start running away. And as they're running away, Aira starts joining them because she's also completely naked and wet. And so the three of them just start running away as the episode ends. Yeah, I kind of wish that the episode went a little bit longer because we're going to see a character that I know a lot of people are going to fall in love with just based off of her looks. I'm not going to spoil too much. I mean, she's a minor character for the most part. But yeah, if people thought that, Seiko was hot, just wait until the next episode. You're going to find another character that gives off MILF vibes. But yeah, that's Okarun episode 9. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. The fight scenes, the animation for this fight scenes is so good. I am so glad that Science Saru is the one that's adapting this series. They have done a phenomenal job. I love the snap zooms. There was a lot of this in this episode for comedic effect, especially when we get the moments where it snap zooms to Momo's chibi face, and then she does the girlish moan as she flies backwards. I like the fact that they kept the Japanese businessman song in here. Everything was done very, very well, and I can't gush over the animation enough. Science Saru, your animators are freaking amazing. Every single one of them deserves a raise. This was great. I love this. But yeah, that's the end of the Serpo arc. The next arc we're going to get, if I'm remembering my timeline correctly, is going to be the First House arc. That's going to be an interesting one. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.